What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Coach Black, your internet, relationship, and breakup coach. Today's topic, this is why some exes will never come back. The 3 deadly sins to avoid during no contact. Now, first and foremost, does every single ex come back after no contact? The answer is no. I've made another video, I'm gonna link that in the description, where we go over some of the breakup statistics. The numbers vary. I've seen different scientific studies about on and off again relationships, breakups, how often does an ex come back, how long it takes. And what I find consistently is that the numbers are not consistent, but it varies from around 30-something% to 60% of the time. That's kind of like the sweet spot I've seen between like 4 or so papers. Okay, so there's a percentage of people that never get back together. All right, that's closer to, on the high end, like 70%, but on the low end, around 40 to 30%. All right, so we're not talking about those people. We're in the sweet spot. When I talk to people in my coaching programs, I see so many people have a good potential to fix things and reconcile with their ex. All right, when I look at the quality of the relationship, how they treated each other, how the breakup went, and even the signs that the ex may be showing at this point, I'm like, okay, this is not bad. Okay, there is a shot here. But then people make some crucial mistakes that only make things worse. And sometimes you are your own worst enemy. And I'm not trying to be harsh here because I know breakups are emotional. Okay, your mind is going to be playing tricks on you. It's going to tell you to do things to numb that pain. Okay, one of the powerful motivators, all right, in the mind of a human being is the desire to avoid pain. Okay, this is why we procrastinate. The brain doesn't want to do a certain task, and then it starts to give you excuses. Oh, don't go to the gym because it's cold, right? And so you're going to be going through a lot of pain dealing with the breakup naturally because you love this person. And so your mind is going to be doing things to try to get you to take action. It's funny because this is also the dynamic that brings your ex back when they start to feel some pain, but you are going to feel that pain first because the breakup was unexpected. You didn't see it coming. And so when you start feeling that pain, you're going to be inspired to do things to fix the breakup or to fix the relationship. So without further ado, let's just get into those key mistakes. Number 1 is what I would call giving more. Now this may sound complicated, but let's make it simple. See, I've talked about no contact as being as simple as basic economics. The most fundamental law of economics is the law of demand and supply. And simply put, it says that whenever there is a low demand for a certain good or service and supply is high, okay, demand is low and supply is high, then the value, the price of that product drops, it plummets because no one is asking for the product, but there's a lot of the product in circulation. So for example, let's say a certain pen, right? This pen right here, okay? If no one in the marketplace wants that pen, but it's flooded everywhere you go, you see this pen, well, the value is going to be extremely low, okay? This is the same thing that happens during a breakup. Currently, when your ex says it's over, when your ex says they're done, their demand for you, their demand for the relationship has dropped down to 0 because they want to leave. They want nothing to do with the situation. And so when your supply is more, when you're giving more, trying to fix things, trying to talk to them, showing up at their house, okay, your value in your ex's eyes continues to drop. And this is so bad. Why? Because as human beings, we have a desire to be special. All right, we like good things. We want to be affiliated with the most attractive, successful people. And so you are hurting your brand, at least in your ex's eye, if you allow your value to continue to plummet. If you continue to show up for someone who's not showing up for you, their mind starts to ask them the question, why are you doing this? In the mind, right? We always have to put things, or we always have to put people in boxes. And so, it's kind of like when someone asks, okay, what do you do? And the person says, I'm a janitor. Unfortunately, the human mind says, okay, this person is not important, which is silly, right? There's value in every job, but it doesn't change the way the human psychology works. And so when your ex is not giving you any effort, when they're telling you that they're done, they're not giving you any attention, and you're chasing them and giving them more and trying to talk to them, their mind starts to ask, why? Why is she doing this? She's obsessed with me. He's crazy about me. His value must be low. He's an unattractive person. And so in their mind, they're like, why would I want to be with them? Why would I want to be with someone who's not important, who's not attractive, who doesn't have any options in the marketplace? Because the only reason they are still here is because they cannot do better than me. All right, and your ex starts to think that they are a catch. They are way up here and you are way down here. If you know anything else about human nature, we tend to date within our range. All right, if you rank everybody, just to keep it simple, from 0 to 10, people who are on the same level or slightly higher and slightly lower date each other. But if your ex perceives themselves as a 10 and they see you as a 2, that gap is so wide that they will have no interest in being with you. So when demand is low, when your ex says, I'm done, it's your job, it's your responsibility to take the supply down to 0. All right, you want to match that. This is what no contact does so well. And when it's down to 0, the only way to go from here is up, right? It's either they start to show you some interest and their demand starts to increase, and then you can slowly reciprocate. So I see people giving more and trying to do more and trying to fix things. And this is what kills any possibility of reconciling the relationship. Deadly sin number 2. This is the one I would call failure to reset the relationship dynamic. This is big. And simply put, when we talked about your ex seeing themselves as being up here and you being down there, a lot of times that shows up in their interest level in you, how they treat you, how they show up to the relationship, phone calls, texts, etc. And at the end of the relationship, sure, this is where your ex's mind is at, but we need to change that dynamic. Your ex needs to start to see you as a more attractive person. When you do no contact, that's great, right? You're aligning and moving in that direction because that shows a level of self-confidence. That shows a level of, I am a catch. I know my worth, which is attractive. But the problem is, once your ex starts to show some interest, people forget that your ex needs to do most of the pursuing. Okay, and so your ex sends you one text message and now you're so eager and you're so keen to talk. Here's another thing you need to understand about the human mind, okay? There's been research that was done on this as well. And it shows that wanting something is a way more powerful motivator than having it. Meaning your ex is more likely to do things to fix the relationship if they want you versus when they have you. Now I know that sounds counterintuitive, it sounds unhealthy. And let me say this, no contact should just be for a season. It's not something you want to implement for life. If you're back in a relationship, you should be communicating. You should be working on, healing those traumas and being in therapy. Absolutely. But the thing is, just because your ex makes one move does not give you the excuse to start chasing. No contact does not end until your ex has put in significant energy and effort. And if you're confused, okay, when does this stop? When your ex starts complaining about you not reaching out to them. That's when you know that you're at that sweet spot where you can start to initiate some calls and texts. So if your ex sends you one call, shoot, even if you go on the first date and it's a perfect date, your ex must be doing all the pursuing because wanting you is a way more powerful motivator. A lot of people make the mistakes of chasing. When you find yourself validating yourself and all the changes you've made, you're pursuing. And your ex is still gonna feel like they are up here. Think about it. When you're working on a project at your job, who is usually presenting, who's usually saying, hey boss, these are the things I do, these are the tasks I accomplish? Usually the lower value person. I was on a call with a client yesterday, and she was telling me how in one of the interactions she had with her ex, he was bombarding her with questions. What have you changed? And are you doing this? And are you doing that? And she was presenting, basically selling herself to her ex. And you should never be in this position. Once you find yourself justifying yourself, your actions, selling all of the changes and improvements that you've made, you're not resetting the relationship dynamic. Your ex is not going to come back because they feel like, oh, you want me so bad. You've made all these changes for me. They come back when they want you, and it feels like they actually want you way more than you want them. It's natural. We want things that are scarce. We want things that are valuable. We want things that are difficult to get. Okay? So when you have or create this false timeline in your mind, and I see people do this, where you start to rush. Let's say, for example, you and your ex go to different schools in different cities or different states, for example, and your ex is back for the Christmas holiday. A lot of people put this timeline in their mind. Okay, I have to fix this before such and such date, before she goes back to college. I have to fix this, before my birthday so we can go on vacation together. Or before Christmas so we can have the Christmas photos. All of these artificial timelines add unnecessary pressure to you, unnecessary pressure to your ex, and that creates a vibe. That creates a vibe of wanting. All right. And once you're wanting something, your ex's guard is going to come up. It's a very natural dynamic. Have you ever had, a salesperson or someone come to your doorstep as on like Saturday in the morning, and they're knocking, you see them with the clipboard? Instantly, if you go open the door, you recoil because you're in defense mode. It's a very natural human dynamic. It's because you feel like this person wants something from you. And your mind is already telling you, okay, what's an answer I can give them to get them off my door? Okay? Whereas if you go to Walmart or Best Buy and you're going to go buy something, okay, no one has to force you to be there. You have a desire. You are pursuing that thing. When you go buy a car, sometimes a salesperson might even be sluggish. They might not be the best salesperson. But if you have a vision that I want to buy this thing, in certain ways, you're already selling yourself that, these are the things, these are the hoops I need to do. These are the documents I need to sign to get this thing that I want. It's a very natural thing. Whereas when someone wants something from you, and you're not ready, your defenses go up. So you must reset the relationship dynamic by allowing your ex to pursue you. The slower you go, the higher their attraction. All right, you must always be moving slower than them. You must always come off as less interested than them. All right, so when they ask you these trick questions like, oh, why should we get back together? You're like, I'm not in a rush for us to get back together. I don't know. I need to see that you've changed. There are things that you did that just didn't make me happy as well. And I've also worked and improved on certain things. So we got to make sure we're both compatible for each other. Just simple things like that. You resisting or changing the premise that you want them so bad because you don't. And this is really how you should carry yourself. You're skeptical of them. They just hurt you. So why should you be so desperate to fix things? Deadly sin number 3. And before we go any further, if you haven't already, please like the video, okay? Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the future videos that I put out. I appreciate you for doing so. And if you know anyone that would benefit from this, please share this video with them so it can help them on their breakup journey as well. Thank you so much for doing so. It really does help the channel out. All right, the battery died, but let's wrap this up. Deadly sin number 3 is allowing your ex to put you in their box. The difficult thing about breakups is, I alluded to in the beginning, is that you're dealing with so much emotions and fear and anxiety. And sometimes those emotions will get the best of you because we are human beings. We are emotional creatures, and you care about this person. But sometimes those emotions are so strong that they make you do things that you're not proud of. Okay, see, one of the things that my mom would tell me, I remember growing up, is that, words are like eggs, right? Once you break an egg, there's no putting it back together, like a glass or a tumbler, a mug. Once you say certain things, there's no takebacks. Once you do certain things, there's no takebacks. And depending on the gravity, depending on the severity, your ex will always remember these things that you did and said, especially after the breakup. How did you handle it? Some people will say very hurtful things to their ex, trying to manipulate or force their ex to do something. And sometimes maybe you threaten your ex about doing certain things to them or even to yourself. And we won't get too graphic here, all right? And these types of mistakes, even though you might get sympathy from your ex because they care about you, if they're humane, they don't want you to go through this much pain. But these are the types of things that make them feel like we cannot make this work. This person is not stable. If the relationship breaks up again, which is possible, I have to go through this cycle again. Do not allow the emotions to get the best of you. Get the help you need. Talk to friends. Talk to family. You can talk to me if you need to. Go to counseling and therapy. Allow those emotions to dissipate through you. Find hobbies, find other outlets for it. It's very important that you keep your brand positive with your ex if there's a chance of fixing things. Okay, you do not want to be that person that your ex is constantly, afraid of. I've talked to people, I've seen cases where the ex had to call the cops because of certain things. They had to change their locks. They had to file a restraining order. When you're doing things like this, a lot of times there's no coming back from this. And these are the reasons that an ex will never come back in certain scenarios. Do not allow the emotions to get the best of you. Stay strong. I know you're going through a lot, but you will get through this. If you have any thoughts, comment, please drop them down in the comment section below and support each other. All right, that's another thing that's good about breakups. There's a whole community of people in the comment section. Support each other, lift each other up, maybe build some relationships there. So you guys can walk through this journey together. If you want to talk to me about your situation, click the first link in the description and we can talk about it. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.